Four Warrington personalities out there: Bridge, Morley, Westwood, and of course coach Tony Smith. And lest we forget, Warrington legend Parry Gordon played for Warrington for 18 years. His funeral was held yesterday. He died suddenly last week. He played in the 73-74 Warrington team that won 4 trophies, capped by Great Britain, also a member of the England 1975 World Cup squad, and we send our sympathy to his family. Meanwhile, Australia and England with a job to do. Australia get us underway, courtesy of the boot of Cameron Smith. Here is James Graham. There's the first collision of this second half.
It's pretty important that England get back into their kicking game as well. It wasn't all that brilliant, especially late in that first half. And they've got to tighten up their defence. Missed tackles in the first 40, England 14, Australia 7. And the clean breaks, it was fantastic to start with. They had 3 clean breaks, but Australia came back and they got 9. It just showed you that they controlled the last 10-15 minutes of the first stanza.
Well, the English combination with Jared Hayne down this left-hand side for Australia is giving Chris Bridge and company a torrid time. The kick is deep from Sinfield. It's over the head of Billy Slater. Now, did he touch that? No, he didn't.
He appeared to want to go for it and thought, boy, this is spinning away.
By Mr. Bymile.
Yep. You live in hope sometimes, Eddie.
Live in hope all the time, Steve.
Yeah, we certainly do, but full credit to the English boys. They looked to have this game under control, but the Australians, time and time again, their ability to get themselves good field position.
And here they come with Lockyer. Darren Lockyer. Oh, Briscoe. Bump. Down he goes. Felt that, the Aussie skipper, but they're still coming forward. And this is Lewis. And away from the challenge is Kurt Gidley. But in the end, Gareth Ellis got to him.
Super stuff by Briscoe, wasn't it?
Oof. Looked like a collision then between Ellis and Big Earl Crabtree. But they managed to bring Anthony Watmoe to the floor. It's Thurston. Thurston then to Lockyer, standing deep. Deep again is Slater. Here is Inglis. Here is Inglis. Oh, he's left 2 in his wake. He's left 3 in his wake. In the end, Kevin Sinfield brings him down on the last. And it's Cameron Smith to Lockyer, who kicks the ball towards the in-goal area. And is it carried over the line? No, it isn't. It was over the dead ball line. England want to get on with it quickly. It is controlled restarts in this competition.
Nice take, good position there.
But England's body language and reaction area was a positive. They wanted to get on with the game quickly. They want to take the play if possible to Australia. And they're not going to let the Kangaroos dictate the pace at which this second half is played.
We knew we were pretty superior in the forward pack, but we really need to start doing a little bit more. And especially that good running from dummy half by Roby.
And a great offload from Roby to Sinfield, but there was no second phase. Tompkins with the long sleeves to Graham, to Eastman, to Bridge. And Bridge will take them on, gets the ball out the back door. Fox has put it down. Here's Inglis, and Bridge recovers.
Bit of a panic pass in the end there, had the opportunity. I mentioned just before the half-time break, Eddie, that that's going to be a 2-on-1. You haven't seen it. There was 2 there. They got away with it, England.
Westwood has pinched it. You think you got away with that? Here's Crabtree.
I made the point, and this is the incident. Yeah, Crabtree had already joined.
Actually, I think he got it before. I think it's a good decision from Williamson, that.
Either way, we've got to get Eastman a little bit tighter to the play the ball area. He's got to take him on the forwards.
Tompkins, stepping Tompkins. Something's gone on there. Something's gone on there between Slater and Tompkins. It's a penalty. Penalty to England.
It's got to be a quick chat. Roby wants to get on with it. White. This is where Eastman
They are all offside. Every single one of those Australian defenders were offside. They were in front of the line, not even 1 foot on the line. Here's Westwood. Still Westwood.
Come on, move! Hold.
Roby. Peacock. Great run from the skipper. Underneath the posts. Roby. Fires the pass to Tompkins. Wide it goes, not the best to Ellis. It just allowed Australia to come in at the vital second. Make no further progress, Gareth Ellis. Here is Tompkins again. Trying to duck under the challenges, but ducked straight into the considerable frame of Cameron Smith. It's Sinfield. It's still Sinfield.
Pretty solid defence.
Gets the ball away. Eastman, get it wide here, there's a chance. Fox bounces off a couple, strains it up. Now then, a decision here, it is no foul.
And a good decision, It's a bit of a worry. The English yardage game is definitely causing this mobile Australian pack huge problems. But what have England got in the last few metres of the field? Where's the finesse? Where's the magic to break this defence when Australia are on red alert?
The one thing that the Australian coach Tim Sheens will be a little bit worried about there on that defensive play, Greg Inglis came right out of the line on the angle and left the overlap. Kangaroos very, very lucky to get away with that.
3 tackles gone, this set of 6 for Australia. Cameron Smith at dummy half, and he finds Luke Lewis, who brushes off a couple. Tompkins, though, stuck to the guns.
Stand up, keep your hand off the ball.
Whoa, there's a mistake from Kirk Gidley.
And it could be a costly one as well. He should be planning a move.
He got the nod off Tim Sheens ahead of David Shillington, who was expected to play. Kirk Gidley.
He's coming up, wrapping the ball up in the tackle.
And this is the moment when Westwood got the ball. See, it's one-on-one there, and he got it before Earl Crabtree joined in. But only just.
Keep an eye on Westwood. He caused the Australians a lot of problems on the Australians' left edge defence in Wigan 2 weeks ago. So let's see if he can do it again tonight.
This is Shenton, meanwhile. Good leg pump from Michael Shenton. Roby. Morley. He takes the battle forward, doesn't he, Adrian Morley? Roby again. Peacock, another one who won't take a backward step. Eastman took that on the fly. Roby scampers from dummy half, gets it away to Sinfield. Short ball. No way through for Ellis, though. England setting down this right-hand side. Slight delay while Ellis's stud is entangled in a kangaroo sock. Meanwhile, it's Westwood. He gives it to Bridge. Bridge running flat. Now he straightens it up. Gets the ball away to Briscoe. Last one here for England.
Tremendous good work there by Darren Lockyer. Experience showing there. Knew the inside pass.
Ryan Hall trying to dump it back. Does. Roby keeps it alive. Good crossfield kick. Who's after this? Oh, that's not forward. They can't get Jared Hayne down in the in-goal area.
Boy, it turned out to be an absolutely wonderful kick. I'm not so sure that Chris Bridge didn't interfere on the jump. Either way, the Aussies very, very lucky to get away with it.
Westwood flying into the tackle.
The crowd have lifted to that.
Come on, stand up. You're milking it.
Here's Sivanasiva. England on the front foot again. Start of this second half.
And it's so important to keep the Australians in their own quarter.
David Peacock.
They've struggled to get out of it. That is great defence.
Last tackle, they've only made 37 metres. That's what the graphic says, but they're 22 away from their own line. Lockyer with the kick. Not the best. Straight into the arms of Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall gets over halfway on the first tackle. That's good.
Quick play the ball. Briscoe scoot away.
There he goes. Good work from England. Want to play the ball quickly. They do eventually to Roby. Roby's getting some treatment.
Either way, it's good work. Two play the balls have made 30 metres forward. Now they can launch something. Where's Eastman?
Sinfield is there. Here is Peacock. And Peacock spinning. Peacock! Great run from Peacock. Left bang next to the upright. South Burgess. The smile says it all. Look out, Australia. I am coming. He'll be in the NRL next year. What a kick to come.
Sheer celebrations throughout the England camp.
And Sinfield now to add the extras. It was Burgess's first touch since he came back. And Sinfield's boot pushes England ahead, Barry.
Eddie, you're right, that was Sam Burgess's first touch. He was warming up on this sideline, desperate to get onto the pitch. He just ran a real good line, hard and strong. And the Australians are on the ropes. They've had to do a number of sets of 6 in defence. The big English forwards are really taking it to them.
What a pass as well from Tompkins in the build-up to that. He scored after 11 minutes of the first half. He scored after 10 of the second. Sam Burgess for England. They're ahead in the Four Nations final with a half an hour to go.
And the chance to score that try came from the set before, as Steve-O mentioned. The defensive set and the pressure on Lockyer's kick allowed England to return the ball and play it closer to the Australian line.
Sinfield just slipped the short pass.
Well, a message is out now for England, because remember, too quick play the ball, got them 25 metres downfield, and it's catching out the forwards. The Australian forwards, to me, they're tiring somewhat. You can't say that's a poor kick, but you can't say that about the three quarters in the green and gold. They've got the power and they've got the speed. But we hold that 2-point lead.
We just caught a glimpse of Tony Smith, the England coach. He coached Leeds to World Club Challenge victory here against the Bulldogs in his only previous assignment at Ellen Road, 39-32. Tony Smith unbeaten here as a coach. 16-14 up after 52 minutes or thereabouts, giving the Kangaroos a real fright.
And this is where they've got to be careful, England, because we've known throughout the years that Australia have a habit of clawing their way back.
Oh, remember that Ashes series?
Quickly, yeah, very quickly after they've conceded a try.
Oh, and they get a penalty here. The 2006 Ashes series, it gives us all sleepless nights. They were a couple of minutes from winning all 3 tests. They lost 3-0 in the end. 2003, I beg your pardon, it was.
Well, Kevin Sinfield tried his best to get out of the way, but just got tangled up. As I say, they allowed the Australians to get in a pretty good position. Reckon they'll just do 2 drives with the forwards, and then we'll see the magic of Thurston and Lockyer. And with so much power out wide, they're always a threat.
This is Gallen. He's taken Sinfield back about 5 or 6 metres with him then. Needed reinforcements, they arrived. Here's Jared Hayne. Danger every time this fella has the ball, but Peacock dealt with the threat. So did Burgess. Cameron Smith. Siver. 3 tackles gone, they're a metre away, Australia.
So Kirk Gidley's gone close, and then he just said, hey, we'll play the ball quickly, that's a try.
And you know where that come from? Phil pointed it out up here in the commentary. England got caught with too many players on this right-hand side, and Australia exposed it then on the left-hand side. It's happened game again.
And it all came about, remember, by that penalty given away by Kevin Sinfield. He got tangled in the tackle. Here's the confirmation.
But Billy Slater just grounded it, and exactly as happened in the first half, England's lead lasted 2 minutes. It's lasted 3 minutes in this second 40, and Billy Slater has nudged Australia ahead again.
This is the incident. Sinfield, he just couldn't get away. Was he being held down by Thurston? Either way, here we go, 3. Now then, watch the referee. He's getting close there. That's Gidley. And he's not really in a good position because he's looking as though the ball's going out wide. Briscoe obscures him, and that's why he has to go to the screen, but there's no doubt Slater has snuck in on the blind side. Tompkins did his damnedest to stop him. We mention it time and time again. Every time the green and golds, whether it be in their own country or up in the northern hemisphere, if you take the lead, you can't relax. They will always bounce back.
Well, he's been perfect with the boots, Jonathan Thurston. This is a difficult kick for him, far out on the touchline. And Billy Slater now 6 tries in 3 meetings against England. What a record that fella's got. Thurston then. 60 goals prior to this match for his country, so 63 now. This was 64, and more importantly, for a 4-point advantage. Missed that one. Terry?
Eddie, when you play rugby, you've got to have self-belief in your teammates. Everyone that you play with, you've got to know that they're going to turn up for you. Now, the good thing with this Australian side, they've got so many leaders, so many calming influences. When they go behind on the scoreboard, they know exactly what to do. They've got 6 club captains in the 17. But this English side, I was just watching them, what they're doing, and Jamie Peacock just said, let's get back to playing direct and let's take the game to the Aussies.
I think the greatest test in a game of international league, Eddie, is that of your concentration. England did remarkably well on the previous play, when outnumbered to defend and prevent a try, but that split second in which they relaxed momentarily was enough for Billy Slater's eyes and game awareness to sense a chance to score.
Well, I think England were 15-point underdogs coming into this match. It's not over yet, but it's been a real scrap. And Inglis waits. He's a man mountain, Greg Inglis.
And he's not frightened to roll his sleeves up and do a bit of hard work as well, as we saw there running from the dummy half. But this is a key factor. They've got over the halfway line, the kick and chase. Is it going to be good?
Ooh, that ricocheted is not played at. It's still the last tackle. That's an F-on. Little bit of fortune shining on England then.
Yeah, the overlap as well. And Jonathan Thurston knew that. Just panicked at the last moment. The ricochet got away with it. And watch this. There's no one at home apart from Tompkins. You could see there that Ryan Hall had already dropped back, obviously in anticipation of the kick downfield.
England have got less and less men there, going with the man with the ball. There is fewer support players than they've had in good periods, and they need to remember what it was that made them strong in these games.
Sinfield finds Peacock. Here is Tompkins. Tompkins, ooh, that was a very good tackle by Lewis. Not the best play of the ball, that.
No, he's cleared the rack. You've lost the
given a knock on, but there was a fair amount of interference at that play of the ball, and it just shows you that just at times when you don't need to panic. Did he try to milk the penalty? He's a smart cookie, this youngster.
Just give me nose white, mate. Listen up, boys.
Well, he certainly wasn't touched by Luke Lewis.
Keep working.
Was it a gamble that has not come off?
So Australia back in possession.
Come on, quickly. Go.
Thurston. England have to work so hard now. Gallen trying to get rid of the ball, but goes down in the tackle. Cameron Smith. Inglis. Westwood did well then. Smith would run from the substitute, Anthony Watmough. Smith, Thurston, great ball, Hayne, Sinfield did well.
That looked forward as well, got away with it.
Brett Morris did finish it, and Brett Morris, that's 2 tonight, 6 tries, as I said earlier, leading try scorer in this tournament in just 3 international appearances. This is his 4th cap, he's got 6 tries. They find them, don't they?
They certainly do, Eddie, and the vision that was seen by this fella, Jonathan Thurston, he could see that Ryan Hall was just away from the touchline, just into the corner, and he knew, and Morris reacted, he responded to the best effect.
Thurston to try and add the extras. He's missed it.
Well, Eddie, I was talking about calming influences, and Jonathan Thurston, I was watching him in that set of 6. He was moving across the back of the plays, he was organising, he was saying that he wanted his troops to go into the middle of the park, suck in the English defenders. They come in and there was going to be gaps out there, but I was just watching the English forwards there and all the team, and they were very quiet. They need to up themselves, they need to come up with a big shot, and they really need to lift down that end of the park.
Oh! Well, there's a problem here for Michael Shenton. Shenton was out before he hit the deck. Ben Hannon came forward, and Shenton was airborne, and his head smashed into the turf.
That's a worry. He might have got a head knock as well, Eddie, before as well as hitting the ground.
Certainly did. You can see the contact there.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
He was out before he got anywhere near terra firma there. It was nothing out of the ordinary in regards to foul play. Ben Hannan just charged through. Tense moments for the England coach, Tony Smith. Still not out of this. Still only 6 points separate.
The hope is that Michael Shenton is going to be okay. We mentioned this man, Dr. Brooks, before. He's in excellent hands, and he's going to be expertly treated. As we're moving into the last quarter of this game, just to sort of talk about the game, a coach in Australia, I had to ask him to explain what was the coach going to be thinking as we're moving into the last quarter. What he wants to do is have his key energy and enthusiastic and intelligent players on the field for this last quarter if he needs to either close out a game when he's in front or chase a game. Has Tony Smith coordinated his replacements such that he can get the energized and the smart players out on the field for this last 20 minutes?
We saw a shot there of Kevin Sinfield, and there is a powerhouse of James Graham. But it's going to take some skill factor to break down this Australian defence. Tony Smith is aware of that.
And when you talk, Brian, about how Tony Smith uses his interchange bench the next couple of minutes, and the fitness or otherwise of Michael Shenton, and the way it looks, we might not be seeing him again tonight. That could play a crucial part.
And this is what a coach has got to deal with. Our thoughts are obviously with Michael Shenton at this moment, and we hope it's not going to be a serious injury. It doesn't look great at the moment. Sometimes a lot of this neck braces is a precaution, you know, just to ensure that he gets off the field or on the stretcher without moving too much. So we hope he's all right. But you're right, it could totally affect the way Tony Smith was trying to coordinate his interchange.
Well, Tony Smith took a huge gamble in anybody's eyes in regards to having 4 forwards on the bench. Of course, Ben Westwood, no stranger to the centre position, and neither is that fellow. And of course, Gareth Ellis, he made his name at Wakefield, playing in the centre many times before. So he's got quite a few options as the England coach. But the most important factor, of course, is that the attention to Michael Shenton is the only important thing at this point in time.
Here's the collision where he goes in to attempt to tackle Ben Hannan. It's worth pointing out that we've seen many progressions and developments of our sport over the last decade. The on-field care of rugby league players has been a fantastic and something that rugby league is very proud of. All of the medical staff at professional and amateur clubs now attend courses regularly to ensure that we can give the best possible immediate medical care and attention to players who suffer injuries, and I talk about that down to grassroots level, Eddie. It's important now that people recognise what you do initially when somebody gets an injury is very important. The early reactions, we see the Australian players, Cooper Cronk, one of them watching on.
Yeah, when you think about it, Cooper Cronk can't even get a place in this side. That's how strong the Australians are. But of more immediate concern to England and their supporters is the health of Michael Shenton.
If Michael Shenton can't continue, what way are we thinking that he's going to go? Will he put Kyle Eastman into that left centre position, pull Kevin Sinfield into the halves and slip James Roby in at 9? It certainly would, I would say it's going to pull away from what Tony Smith was wanting to do in this last 20 minutes and the team he was hoping to finish with. But it's one of the things that happens in the game, and you think on the hoof.
And as Steve-O rightly said, Gareth Ellis is no stranger to playing in the centre position for Tony Smith during his Leeds days.
And there has been big calls for him to play in the centre. Now, people have questioned his pace and all that, so they might get their wish granted in unfortunate circumstances.
Well, we're approaching the final quarter, and I think it's maybe time for Tony Smith to be going through his mind as to, okay, he's got the option of changing a few players to play out wide on that left-hand centre. And let's hope that Michael Shenton is going to be okay.
Well, everyone to a man in this stadium applauding Michael Shenton off the field, and even Greg Inglis was just resting his legs while all that was going on.
In that final quarter, Eddie, Tony Smith knows that at one point, if they're still 6 points down, is going to have to gamble with something. They're going to have to come up with something. I keep mentioning the fact maybe You talk about Eastman going out wide. I really would want Kyle Eastman to stand a little bit first receiver to ask a few questions of the Australian forwards in defence.
Let's get down to Bill quickly.
The mystery might be solved. Gareth Ellis has just taken the field as a replacement for Michael Shenton. Where Ellis lines up, we're still waiting to see, but it could well be that he'll fill that centre role.
Yes, Gareth Ellis quickly off the bench to come into the action, and it's been pointed out to me that the lead has changed hands 3 times tonight. There's never been more than 6 points between the two nations, and that's the situation we have now as we reach the 3-quarter mark of this final, this Gillette Four Nations final, and what a great tournament it's been. He's lost the ball there.
Well, he's very hit. I think the side of his head and neck twisted. Oh,
James Graham's.
That was another collision.
It was a head clash, wasn't it? Accidental head clash.
And Burgess came in on the second, and as soon as he spins around, he gets Burgess.
I think that's whiplash. I don't know if you're sure he head clashes. I think that the impact with James Graham, I think, has whipped Ben Hannon's head back that hard. It's knocked him out.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. He had a big collision, of course, with Michael Shenton just a few moments ago.
Well, the referee's just said the clock has been stopped, but I don't think he might be able to hear him in the background saying, I did stop it, because James Graham asked him the question, I think. But the clock was still ticking.
It went on for a while, that's for sure. Now,
Ben Hannon, the hunter, becomes the hunted.
which side now is going to gain the confidence? Because sometimes when we've had a second stoppage,
that's why we put the scrum down.
who will it affect most?
Jeez, mate, you're a trier.
Just to tidy up on the homework after the last incident, I think we see Ellis has gone out into the left centre position. So that answers that question. Eastman's going to stay in the halves.
Stand up.
Well, England get head and feet at this scrum after that hefty collision with Ben Hannant, and Hannant, as you see, is packing down front row of that scrum.
I just told you, boys. Get your foot forward, Adrian.
Isn't it amazing? Imagine a referee saying you're not allowed to strike for the ball.
Move!
I was talking to Fred Lindop about that the other night, Steve-O, and your name came into the equation. You know what he thinks of you, of course.
Of course. Let me think that to ourselves. Hope you're feeling well out there, Fred.
He's in good spirits, I'll tell you. Here is Briscoe, meanwhile, for England. Hunted down by Sam Thaiday.
We've got to start asking the question now. Really get into it, come on.
Great offload by Peacock to Sinfield, who puts the ball down.
Well, I posed the question.
James Graham right down his ear then. Forget it.
Tidy them up, let the ball go.
I did pose a question, Eddie, as regards when you've had two stoppages like that, you know, who's going to be concentrating the most?
Now listen up, boys.
And errors like that
let the ball get in the
prove
tunnel.
extremely costly.
There's a vulnerability about this Australian team that I don't think we've seen too often. I know they're ahead on the scoreboard and they've got possession of the ball now, but England do look threatening when they have the ball. They can cut out those little errors. They might come back into this game.
I can see it, he's got him locked. Go.
Yes, there's a vulnerability about the forward pack, but there is an invincibility about the three-quarter line that the Australians parade. They are sensational with the ball in their hands. Frighteningly so, and this is one of them, Jared Hayne.
To be fair, it has been the best, shall we say, display by the Australian forwards in this tournament today.
Here's Billy Slater.
And again, look, they're in the England half when they get the last, and they're going to run it.
Running it on the last.
Did it hit a player?
He's still alive. They're playing 0, says the referee. He's given Australia 6 to go. I don't know where he saw that, but he's a lot closer to the action than we are, so is his touch judge.
Well, they kept it alive, and I think there was just a hand came out. That's the reason when it went behind the players.
Cameron Smith. Looks like Ben Hannant's fully recovered from that clash of heads or whatever it was.
They're setting up to get the ball to Greg Inglis. Sooner or later, he has to get hold of it.
Thurston to Lockyer. Slater stabs the ball behind them. And Peter Fox just flicks it out.
Second tackle kick.
Yeah, but they know they've got the pressure. Slater knows that they're running down. And Fox has had to take it over the sideline. This will be head and feet to the green and golds. There's the incident.
Yes, Ryan Hall snaked out of hand, 6 to go.
Credit Jonathan Thurston's reaction as well, straight on the ball, straight instead of just standing and watching it go to ground, straight on the ball and regathers possession.
Well, this is the third set England have got to defend, and Australia going to get the feed, obviously, and the possession from this scrum.
Inglis is hanging way back. Is he coming as a second phase?
He's right in the middle of the screen there. Thurston gives it to Slater. Slater still hands the ball on to Gidley. England come back in numbers. This is a vital set of 6 for England now. It really is. Can't be overemphasised as Nathan Hindmarsh returns. Ball is flicked up to Watmore. Backwards, says the referee. Thurston gives it to Lockyer. England muscle up in defence, but that's only the second tackle. There's 4 more coming at them. Cameron Smith. Back it comes to Thurston. Here is Slater. Slater changes the direction. Brilliant on his feet. Absolutely brilliant on his feet.
England got to be careful they don't give away a penalty, because the Aussies will take the 2 points. Don't worry about that.
Cameron Smith. Thurston stabs the ball in. And England have it back. They survive. Sinfield atones for the error.
Not the best option there by Jonathan Thurston.
Not at all, not on the third tackle, not at all.
They really should have been just driving forward and trying to stretch. Remember, Australia, they're leading by the 6. They don't have to panic. They don't have to ask those questions in attack. England do.
Bridge lost that.
He's lost it and they haven't been seen by the officials. They've had the stroke of luck and they turn it into their advantage. Boy, that should have been a knock-on.
Oh, that was Jamie Peacock, wasn't it, with that kick? It was, and it was straight into the arms of Jared Hayne.
You just get the feeling that they're beginning to look a little bit tired and they're losing the plot. They should have had themselves organised. You can't have a big forward like that putting a kick downfield.
You're absolutely right. We banged on about it all tournament so far, how the last tackle kick has not been good enough. The halves have had time in that set to set up and get themselves ready for a kick instead of allowing it to go to a prop forward to kick.
England flying into the tackle. That was Peacock. This is Cameron Smith. Here's Hindmarsh.
Pass that he threw in the World Cup final that virtually sealed it for New Zealand to take that trophy, and he come under a lot of pressure, a lot of stick, but he has repaid Australia very much indeed. Surely this is only an easy kick for this man.
And it is. Terry?
There's a word, Eddie, honesty. That is all that try was. It's about pushing up and not giving up, chasing to the last step, patting it back, knowing that one of your teammates is going to be there. Now, a big thing that's really hurting England at this present time is the big yardage that the referee's taking about. He's taking about 12, 13 metres. If he's going to take you back that far, you've got to make sure you slow down that ruck and take the yardage away from the Australians.
That's Australia's 5th try in this game. 3 of them have come on the last tackle, Eddie. Great demonstration of how to look so dangerous on the last play. Sometimes it's been passing, sometimes it's been kicking, but being so clinical on the last tackle is the reason why the 12 points ahead.
That wasn't the best kick-off from England. It was a short kick-off, but I don't know whether anyone was reading the script apart from Greg Inglis. Anyway, let's go down to Bill. I think he's got news of Michael Shenton, Bill.
Yeah, encouraging news of Shenton. He was knocked out cold, as we saw, but he has come round in the England dressing room. He's sitting up, he's communicating with the medical team, and they're a lot happier about his state. He really was clean out on that field.
Well, I hope this isn't the signal for Australia to display their full box of tricks, because this English effort, it does not deserve to be a 20 or 30.
And Billy Slater backing up like every fullback should do. Have England clocked off, a bit of lazy defending on the fringe, you're going to get exposed by these players.
Well, with a 12-point lead, we always knew that they were going to start keeping this ball alive, and it has worked out exactly that way. Slater, the creator of the try, a few moments ago for Cameron Smith. Great work, good offload. Was it a slight hint of a forward pass? Either way, the referee in a good position. And Mr. Slater is surely wiping off the debt in regards to that silly pass in the World Cup final. He will be a very, very happy man. And the power of the green and golds once again has come to the fore.
Thurston adds the extras. That was academic. 34-16. Terry, they don't deserve this, England.
Eddie, just looking at what the England camp were doing there, and you look for that inspiration. I was saying it before, and Jamie Peacock was giving his teammates a right big serve in there. You can't let the Australians play the ball so quick, have so many options. If you do, they will absolutely kill you. Look for a real big set here. There's the shot start for the English.
Yes, but again, he comes up in the possession of the green and golds. And that's a grapple tackle by Wilkin.
Gallen's been strong for them all night. Gallen's had a very, very good game for the Australians tonight.
Well, there was a doubt about the forwards. They said that the English pack would take them apart, but Tim Sheens has worked very hard this week. He said that he has not been too comfortable with the effort that's been shown by the forwards, but they really have stood up tonight.
Cameron Smith, Thurston, they're full of running now. The Australians absolutely full of it. 9 minutes to go. Last tackle here for Australia. It's with Lockyer.
Okay.
All along the deck, asking Peter Fox to run it back. Hayne is after them, after him rather. And Briscoe bravely takes it forward. He's clattered by Billy Slater, who has a word in his ear. Here's Fox again. England, I'm afraid, are running in bags of cement now. They've given their all.
Yeah, and I suppose that Tony Smith will looking at the videotapes later and saying that perhaps their kicking game was not as good as what it was shown against New Zealand. Remember, they absolutely peppered New Zealand with high kicks, high bombs. We haven't seen any of that tonight.
Crabtree on the last. They've only made 29 metres this set of 6. Eastman, little dink over the top, but too far forward, looking for Tompkins, gobbled up by Lockyer. And here comes Gidley now.
The Australian captain has been around far too long. This is his 50th cap for the green and golds, and he knew anticipation. He reads the game so well. Remember, the great star made his name as a full-back, and then he moved up to the stand-off position.
Here's Kurt Gidley again.
And it's very rare you can say to a man that's still playing that you'll have to classify him as a legend. And that's the nomination I would give to Darren Lockyer. He has been an absolutely wonderful servant, not only for his country.
It's disappointing if you're looking at it from an English point of view, but from a neutral's point of view, it's a joy to watch them execute their plays.
No, I'm sorry, I'm sick of it.
Okay.
I'm sick of seeing it year after year, time after time. I really am.
Right, but from a neutral's point of view, watching these players execute those plays and kick like that and finish the ground to try like that, it's a joy to watch.
Brilliant. You're absolutely right. If you want to watch rugby league from the top of the tree, the highest echelon, you watch it year after year in green and gold.
It's called control, and that's what the green and golds are doing. Lockie knew exactly what was happening. He knew that a tired defence out wide, in this case it was Peter Fox. See how he just looked. He reads the game ever so well.
You will not see players, Steve-O, in either code in this month execute plays like that. In either code, these players are as good as it gets.
Couldn't agree with you more, Brian, but we've seen it time after time, year after year.
But disappointing from an English point of view, no doubt. I've been on the receiving end of it when they're red hot, and look, they're a different level.
We expected so much tonight, and it looked as though we were in with the fight for quite a long time. 5
tries in the last 20 minutes. Says it all.
And that shows you the power and the strength and the fitness levels.
Thurston, can he add the extras? Yes, he can.
What about the hook on that?
It's just how good they are. They believe in everything that they do. Darren Lockyer, if you watch the way he plays the game, he backs himself every time he has the ball in hand. He knows that if he takes it to the line, he pulls up the outside back. As soon as he does that, he can put in the neat little kick, and that's where the Australians will score the try. But come on, England, you've got to switch on.
Australia have it. No, they don't. England have it back from the short kick-off this time. Third time lucky.
Hold.
Just been shown a a couple of pieces of paper. Greg Inglis has been deemed man of the series in this Four Nations, and man of the match tonight is Jonathan Thurston.
And justified. Greg Inglis, it's been a joy to watch him over these past few weeks.
He's the best three-quarter in the world as far as I'm concerned as well. And to be fair, Thurston has dug deep. He's been creative.
Nice little kick from Eastman, but just too far away from Peter Fox.
There's the game. There's the execution. The two different teams try the same thing, and that's the difference of the teams at the moment.
And also the fact that now they are trying things when it's just hopeless. The scoreline has got away from them.
They don't deserve that scoreline, though,
No,
Steve.
I know you're right.
It's probably, at the end of the day, a fair reflection, but
Yes.
they don't deserve it.
No, you're right, the effort that the English guys have put in, but there was a time when you said, and I kept saying it, it's when we should ask the questions. Someone should do something different, and we didn't. Did Australia? Yes, they did, and that's the reason why the score is as it is.
Well, Bridge and Burgess keep it going right to the end. I mean, if we feel deflated, I just wonder what the players feel like, because they put their bodies on the line year after year, don't they? And the result, sadly, never seems to change.
Well, you're right.
On the faces of the Australian players.
That's
A brilliant kick.
brilliant, and he didn't
And a
have to
wonderful
kick.
chase.
And I don't think he had to kick. I think that's the confidence, and that shows the confidence and the execution of the plays. Again, look, if you're going to get anything out of this last 15 minutes, just enjoy what the Australians are doing. It's disappointing from an English point of view, but enjoy what you're watching.
And not only that, it's to exorcise the demons that must have been going through this man's mind when New Zealand were traipsing round that ground in Brisbane with the World Cup trophy. He has been magnificent.
Well, he got 3 tries against us in Melbourne.
Look how cool Gidley
Last year.
was. He knew exactly there was someone there. It wasn't the best bounce by
Contrast
Sean
that kick,
Briscoe.
Steve-O, with the kick that we've just seen in the corner from England. You know,
We still got a long way to go. Sadly, we thought we'd made up. But you've got to start looking at the positives. We're building for the 2013.
yes, here to that.
Who would have thought that Tony Smith would have thrown in 2 youngsters in Tompkins and Eastman? Okay, it was always going to be a big ask. They've done their bit, but quality and class has come to the fore.
Well, these English players are absolutely shell-shocked. Looking at the bench, they're shell-shocked, the fans are shell-shocked. But you've got to say about this Australian side, winning is a habit. They have no idea how to lose, and why they are so good for 80 minutes, they keep punishing you. No matter how much pressure you put on them, they will just keep lapping it up, and then they'll come up with the goods at the end of the game.
Backwards.
England have got the ball back from the kick-off again, 46-16, 2 minutes to go.
There's a couple of players there, Eddie, you really feel for, and that's Adrian Morley and Jamie Peacock, 2 guys that have battled for so long. You don't know whether they'll be there in 2013. Maybe they will be, but I mean, they're the players. The other guys, a lot of the other guys in the field will get a chance, but these fellas lead from the front. They charge it up. They're players the Australians fear, and we might not see them get so close to an Australian team again.
And here's Morley once more. Morley and Peacock carrying the battle forward. Nobody has put their hand up higher than those two. Here's Tompkins. Can you just give us something to take home with us and think about through the winter before next year's Super League starts? Oh, look at that.
Took it well, didn't he? But the point is, Eddie, is that the likes of Sam Tompkins, Kyle Eastman and Richie Myler, is that the message is out. If you're going to be good enough, you'll get the opportunity. And we have to think positive. Yes, it's a cruel game, but when you play against quality and class, like we've witnessed in the second half, it's hard to stop.
Thurston again with the kick. Ooh, and it nearly came off Lockyer.
Knock on there. It's gone down here.
Well, he'll be as disappointed as anybody. Tremendous performance last week. Named the International Loose Forward of the Year this week. Kevin Sinfield. Sam Friday is just having the bandages taken off. He's run his course for this year. And 20 seconds away from the end of the 2009 season.
We'll pack the scrum for
Lockyer
time on,
still
right?
wants to
Pack the scrum
score.
off for time on.
He still wants to score, Lockyer. He wants to sign off from his 7th Kangaroo tour with a try.
Well, I think he doesn't want England to score. That's what they want. No more tries.
It's a high hanging kick. You're right, Steve-O, he's a legend, a living legend.
Certainly is, and one wonders now whether this may be the opportunity. 50 tests for Australia. He will stand up shortly and lift the Four Nations trophy, and will he call it a day at international level?
6 tries from the 53rd minute for Australia after England had taken the lead through the Sam Burgess second try 10 minutes into this second half. They led 16-14. It was a real contest. But then Slater's hat-trick, Brett Morris, Cameron Smith and Jared Hayne, they well and truly put England to bed. And Bill is with the Australian captain, that living legend that is Darren Lockyer.
Darren, is that the first full 80 minutes you put together in this Four Nations tournament?
Yeah, I think obviously the occasion got us up for the game, and you know, the first half was a bit of an arm wrestle, but the second half I guess we just got our rhythm.
Is that what made the difference? Things just started to get on a roll?
Yeah, I think our first half set it up. You know, look, we didn't have as much possession as them. You know, they were playing good footy, but we come off at half-time with a lead, and I think that was important.
Kicking game was spot on, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, we obviously worked on that a bit this week, and the win tonight made it a bit difficult, but you know, the boys did well.
From a personal point of view, it's got to be a pretty satisfying, if this is the last opportunity we get to see you in the green and gold, pretty satisfying way to end it.
Yeah, definitely. I've enjoyed coming over here and playing, and tonight was, yeah, like I said, you know, it was potentially my last game here, so it was nice to go with a win.
Well, let's bring the man of the match in, Jonathan Thurston. Thanks, Darren. Like you said, for an hour, that was hard work.
Yeah, very hard work. Like Darren said, you know, I think our first half set it up. We didn't have much ball, but we defended very well, and you know, we started to click with things in the second half and ran away with it.
What was the mood in the dressing room at half-time? I mean, you put a bit of ball down. Completion rate wasn't that bad, but was there a bit of dissatisfaction?
Oh, not really. You know, we didn't have much ball, so you know, we knew we were coming in with I think it was a 4-point lead or something. So you know, we're pretty stoked with that, with the amount of possession that we had, and you know, it was tough there in the 20 minutes in the second half, and you know, it was good to see us put some tries on the board.
Does this make last year's experience in the World Cup final a little bit easier?
Look, we've always said it, you know, the Kiwis will always be world champions, but you know, I think we're the #1 team now after the Four Nations, so you know, it's pretty satisfying.
Well done tonight. Thanks, John.
Thanks, mate. Can I say a quick hello to my family back home? Love yous. Can't wait to see us.
Enjoy London.
Thank you.
Sam Burgess joins us as well. 2-try, valiant effort from Sam, and certainly for the first hour you're in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think as a team we believe we could win today. Obviously we're really disappointed with how the game finished, and you know, I think we deserve better. You know, we've really worked as a team, and like I said, it's disappointing that the way the game finished, but like I said, we're going to take a lot from this tournament.
Where did it get away from you?
Oh, I don't know, Bill. You know, it's a tough one. I thought we were really in it, and just happened. I said to James Peacock behind the six, I said, you know what's happened here. It's just we made too many errors, and you know, they capitalised on it. You know, all credit to Australia, their quality side.
It's hard to take personal satisfaction out of a night like tonight, but 2 tries against Australia in the final, it's not bad going, Sam.
Yeah, it's all right, but I mean, you know, it's not a win, so it's like I said, I'm happy to score, but still we've not won, and that will be my aim for the game tonight.
This is what you're going to be facing week in, week out next season. You're looking forward to it?
Yeah, mate, I enjoyed it tonight. Like I said, I'm a bit disappointed with the result, but you know, I really enjoyed this series, and hopefully I can build on it next season in the NRL.
Sam, we wish you all the best down under.
Cheers, Bill. Thanks.
Yes, we do. We wish Sam Burgess all the very best, and well, he'll come back and he'll play for England, no doubt, in next year's Four Nations. Not saying the lights have gone out all over Leeds tonight, but they've gone out for England, I must say, in the last 20 minutes of this final.
Yeah, it's disappointing that the scoreboard is to such an effect that they've run away with it late in that, especially in that final quarter. They're despondent to the England boys, but at least they've shown a lot of spirit and comradeship over this tournament.
I'm with Phil and Brian, though. I mean, your heart bleeds for the likes of Jamie Peacock and Adrian Morley.
Yeah, and we'll still pose the questions, won't we, Eddie, in regards to you know, that after a long, hard season, you know, it does affect them. There is the trophy that...
Well, it affects them, Steve, just to pick up on that, but it doesn't seem to affect the Aussies. And they've travelled halfway around the world to be here for this.
No, that's it. And then there's the wet weather. People talk about let's have it rain. They can't play in the rain. And
well, Jamie Peacock wanted Armageddon, didn't he?
As it stands, they're a class above what the best this island can produce is. Just a quick note, we've seen Michael Shenton. Phil's pointed him out here. He swapped jerseys. He's back on his feet, which is a great sign.
Absolutely. It really is. The presentations are going to be sorted out now.
You know, I'm not downbeat, Eddie. I'm excited more than ever. We've less than 1,500 days to the next World Cup, and I know behind the scenes England are starting to get their act together. Okay, they've got less than 8. They've only got 8 guaranteed matches before that, so that isn't a lot of match time to prepare. But I believe that England are going to start to put together individual plans for the best 50 or 60 players in this country, which is what they'll need to do. You need almost an Olympic-style preparation there. That's 4 years, and everything should be tailored to the individual player to help him maximise it. There should be an in-depth analysis of how Australia are stronger than us, and don't forget, they're improving every year at a rapid rate. So our rate of progress needs to be far greater if we want to beat them.
Well, you're right, Phil, but, you know, well, we've heard it all before.
Absolutely. Search high and low and find me a Greg Inglis, find me a Billy Slater, find me a Darren Lockyer and a Cameron Smith, and then I'll share your confidence. But at the moment, Phil, I'm not sure that the players are out there that can compete. Maybe by 2013, but I haven't seen the players knocking around that can compete with these guys. Darren Lockyer is nearing the very end of career, and he controlled this game like a young man at the start. I mean, with the energy of a young man at the start of his career.
But that sounds like I'm surrounded by pessimism here and defeatism, and that can't be the case. We can't give in. You talk about Jamie Peacock, he has been a great player. England and Great Britain have had some great players for the last 30 years who've been on losing sides. Elliot Hanley would be one, and you would say probably should have been in a winning team, but he hasn't. Peacock leads them forward here. You can't give in. You've got to work harder than your opponents if you're in front of you. You've got to make more sacrifices, and there needs to be a greater level of determination from the top, from the board level down to the grassroots level, to improve.
And you've got to add to that you're pretty keen on stats, Phil, I know that. And when you look at the end of this game, 27 missed tackles by England, it says it all, because the speed of this Australian outfit, because we often say it goes for 80 minutes, there's a game of rugby league, not for 60, not for 55. We did compete, but not for the full 80 minutes, and that is something that we must look at.
Well, I'll give you another stat, Eddie, to just sit and ponder. In all of the Super League, there were 340 players who played 5 games or more. Only 180 of those, by my reckoning, are eligible to play for England. That's 53% of the total players in Super League eligible to play for Super League. I'm saying 5 or more games. I'm discounting those guys who only get 1 or 2 matches throughout the course of a season. That, again, is something that needs to be speeded up. We're trying to reduce the number of overseas players in the competition and give more young British players exposure at a higher level. But it isn't happening quickly enough if we're determined to try and make an impact in the 2013 World Cup.
Phil,
well, that's a long, long way away.
He's 100% right. Therein, in my opinion, I agree with Phil, there lies the biggest problem. If you're going to bring players from overseas, have 1, 2 or 3 top quality players in your sides and have the rest of the side filled with players that are eligible for Great Britain or for England.
Well, as we debate and pick over the bones of yet another England defeat in a major international series, as you can see, the Australians have lined up. They have not yet lifted the trophy. Darren Lockyer has not yet been presented with the trophy. He is waiting there to receive the Gillette Four Nations trophy. Gets a quick handshake from Royce Simmons and a pat on the back from his coach Tim Sheens.
And the last one up to receive his
and the Australians, with champagne poised, are ready to celebrate. They were beaten comprehensively in the World Cup finals 12 months ago. They have come to England and they have comprehensively beaten England in the final of this Four Nations tournament. And Darren Lockyer now steps up to receive, first of all, his winner's medal, and then the gleaming silver trophy. And Australia are the Gillette Four Nations 2009. And that's the moment that they came for.
A very proud moment for the green and gold players, but I can assure you it's a very proud moment for the Australian coach Tim Sheens, and there we have Tony Smith controlling the England side. But once again, and I'm with Eddie on this, I am sick and tired of congratulating the Australians. They are by far some of the best players in the world.
One thing I will give Darren Lockyer credit for, he poured the champagne into the cup and he didn't spray it all over everybody, so they're going to take a drink out of it.
Oh, they'll be doing some drinking tonight, I guess, them, and they deserve it as well. They've been outstanding.
Let's go down to the pitch side again. Bill's got Jamie Peacock with him. Bill, tell him our hearts are bleeding for him, will you?
Jamie, we're standing just a few yards away from where the green and gold are celebrating with that trophy, and it's I can tell by the look on your face it's hard to take.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we had a real belief. We was in a shot. We win it one way, you know, like 20 minutes to go, and yeah, they just pulled away at the end. They were pretty clinical, weren't they? You know, credit to Australia the last 20 minutes.
Scoreline doesn't really reflect the effort that your guys put in, certainly for an hour.
No, I don't think so. You know, they all just played well the last, you know, in the game, and you know, given the credit deserved. But you know, I thought we deserved a little bit better than that. But you know, that sport is cruel, isn't it? Sometimes.
Where did it get away from you? Can you put your finger on just when it began to slip?
Yeah. I think it was you know, the midway of the second half. We probably come up with a couple of errors, and you know, they didn't get the ball for 10 minutes. And Australia are always going to kill you. You know, if you give them that much ball, and they did in the end. You know, they took the chances very well. That's what they did. Yeah.
When you look back on this, though, you were surrounded by some of the best young talent in Super League, and they're going to go far, aren't they?
Yeah. I think that's the one good thing that's come out of the series. More than one good thing come out of this series, to be honest. But that is one of the good things. You know, the way the young players have played, and I think some of the other players, you know, like people like, you know, Foxy and Earl Crabtree, they might not be as young as, you know, Sam Burgess and Tompkins and Eastman, but they've done just as great a job. You know, Orley as well. They've come in and played against the best in the world and not looked out of place, have they? They've, you know, given as good as they've got. I just think we need to build on this now, you know.
Well, there's an opportunity to go for it again next year down under. You're going to be there?
Yeah, I'm not sure at this time. You know, the last thing on my mind thinking about next year, to be honest. Yeah.
Jamie, thanks for talking to us.
No worries, Bill. Cheers.
Well, he is a brave warrior, Jamie Peacock. Great captain. But I get the impression that he is as sick and tired as Steve-O and me as being on the wrong side of scorelines like that.
Well, he's probably tired at the end of the season as he watches Australia celebrate again. But you've got to decide how much do you want to improve, and that's what the game needs to do. England meeting at the end of the season and trying to compete against Australia for 4 weeks isn't good enough. They need to do more throughout the course of the season, whether that's individually or whether that's in small groups of the half-backs and the forwards and the outside backs. The game needs to decide how much does international rugby league mean. Now, when they can get in Australia over 50,000 people to watch a league match, and we can't get that to watch the final here, you've got to recognise and put things into perspective. It is a bigger game. They've got more players. They've got more facilities and resources. So you can't, you know, just concede defeat and roll over and die. You need to be very smart with the resources that England have.
But Brian, it is a scene we have seen far too often, and we might see a few more times yet.
Well, look, I hate being the pessimist. I love this game, and I really wanted to do well. But at the moment, I'm not sure how much closer we're getting to these people and getting closer to beating them. I played in teams that have beaten them, still didn't feel close enough to them. And I don't think that we've got any closer after this tournament upon reflection. Unfortunately, Sean McRae mentioned that the state of origin is a huge bonus to these men. It prepares them for this final football. They know how to win games in finals, and that comes from the origin football most of these guys play 3 times a year, year in, year out.
Well, I must say, the celebrations from the Australians slightly mooted, although they are on a sort of walking lap of honour, although there's not too many English people who have stayed in the stadium to cheer them, but their home supporters have. The supporters who have jetted in halfway from around the world, and the English-based Antipodeans who have come out here with the Australian flags as well. You have to take your hats off to the best, and tonight the Australians were the best. The scoreline, well, it's cruel on England, but at the end of the day, Australia have won it with a fantastic performance in the last 20 minutes.